Welcome to Chamber Chat. I'm Judy Taylor, President of the Habersham County Chamber of Commerce, and thank you for joining us today. I have three guests, Chad Henderson, Keith Stapleton, and Shirley Meeks. And my first guest is Chairman of the Board of Commissioners for Habersham County, Chad Henderson. Welcome, Chad.
Thank you, Judy.
We're just so happy to have you here today. Generally, during the year sometime, I try to have the chairman of the Board of Commissioners, and we just appreciate your being on here today.
Well, thank you. Enjoy being here.
And I want to start off, we're going to get into some other things, but this morning I drove into Clarksville, and I looked over on the left, and I saw the judicial building going up. It is well underway now, and it's exciting to drive along and see it. Is it 2 stories, 3 stories? I couldn't really tell.
It's 3 stories above ground. There's 1 basement level, so we have 4 full stories of the building there. And yeah, it's getting a lot more to the point you can tell what it's going to look like. Bricks going up, windows are going in. We're getting there. We're looking very good on the completion date. We're still being told it's June.
Of this year?
Of this year. So,
okay, they're going to have to move pretty fast.
We'll see. Well, they're getting there. They're about 95% dried in right now, I think. So they're getting very close to having us to the point that they can really start moving on this project. So, yeah.
And I believe some of the beautification of it is being helped. I believe Archway Partnership is helping with some of the, what would you call it, the landscaping or the beautification?
Archway is helping us with a path that goes up from Washington Street. There's going to be a little thoroughfare, you might say, that goes up to the courthouse. You're going to be able to see from Washington Street back up and be able to see the building. And there's a walkway that'll be kind of made up through there. And the guys from Archway have done a great job at putting some things together to help us, and they're going to use students from North Georgia Tech, from Piedmont, and the University of Georgia to design what we're going to have there. So it's really a joint project between Archway, the county, the city of Clarksville. So I feel really good about where we're going with that.
That sounds so good. And it was, Chad, it was controversial for so long, and we have gotten past that, and everybody's just excited about it now. So it is a big plus and a big asset for Habersham County right now.
Absolutely.
Now let's talk about something else that is big with the county right now, and I think that the upcoming SPLOST is foremost in the minds of a lot of us.
Sure.
And talk to us a little bit about the process of negotiation that is going on between the cities and the county right now, and how is that progressing?
Well, we're to the point right now that we've come up with a very rudimentary framework of how we're going to structure SPLOST. We've been working with the cities. We want to do this in as equitable of a fashion as we can. We can't really say fair because there's no real honest, fair way to do it, but we can come up with an equitable way that everyone can at least walk away from feeling good about. And we're having another meeting next Thursday night at the Aquatic Center between the county and all the municipalities. And in that meeting, Barbara Kiesler from the city of Clarksville and Jane Ann Allison will present several different options for the framework. We've come up with what we feel is a good base for that framework. And they're going to put some numbers to it. They're going to put a little bit more detail to it, and then show us in a PowerPoint presentation or at least charts and graphs how that would look and what it would mean as far as monies for the different cities and for the county. And like I said, we've come up with an idea about framework. Now then it's just trying to negotiate to get to the numbers that we need to be basically for this to work. The county is very much willing to work with the cities and allow the cities to kind of push for economic development, and us as the county take a little bit more of a back seat than we have in the past as far as SPLOST goes. We've always had that Tier 1 project where we've taken a large sum right off the top, and this time we're approaching this just a little differently. So we're excited about it and feel really good about the cooperation. The cities are I think, on board with working with us in this manner, and it's going to mean something very good for this community.
It will. And I think that you'll have some advocate groups out there trying to help you, and the cities themselves, the municipalities, and the county will. Well, I'm not sure they can be an advocate group though.
Elected officials cannot be
That's
advocate.
that
We
was
can't
what I
do
was
that.
thinking.
None of us, none of the cities nor the county, we cannot attempt to sell this. There
But
will
the people
be,
in the cities could,
the people in the cities, of course, could.
who would
and
benefit.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
And just what will it mean for Habersham County for the passage of this SPLOST?
Well, this SPLOST is going to be about really trying to do what we need to do to create an environment that will be friendly to businesses to create jobs. We've moved our tax base over the past 8, 10 to 15 years actually has moved less and less industrial, commercial, and more into residential.
And that's not good.
It is not good. It is a formula for higher taxes, period. For you to be able to do the things that people seem to want done with some of the services, if you don't have an offset with industry and with some real commercial properties, then residential taxes have to go up to pay for those things. So we need to do some things for the future to be able to create an environment that business is actually going to be able to thrive in and grow in, for us to be able to make sure that we don't have tax increases in the future. And we still are looking right now at having to possibly cut some services in order to not have tax increases going forward. So this SPLOST is going to be important.
How will it impact the budget if it fails, Chad?
Well, just the roads and bridges portion of the SPLOST for the county is enough that it would create probably a 2 to 3 mil tax increase just to be able to cover maintaining roads and bridges.
For property owners.
For property owners, that's right. So SPLOST is very important in allowing everyone who shops in the cities and in the county to assist in maintaining the roads that they drive in on, and the bridges and the different things that we're required by law to take care of. So that way it's shared, it's spread out much more than
just the property owners.
Absolutely.
Yes. And to end on a positive note, Chad, tell us some good things that you're seeing for the future of Habersham County.
Well, I think right now we do have more of a spirit of cooperation between the cities and the county than we've had in a long time.
I agree.
We feel really good about our relationships with the cities. We feel really good about the relationships with city councils. We also see a cooperation between our sheriff's department and the county commission and between many of our other constitutional elected officers. So I think you're seeing for the first time in a long time a true spirit of cooperation. Habersham Medical Center is moving forward. There's going to be some growing pains there, but absolutely could not be more impressed with what those people on the hospital authority are doing. They're putting that institution back on solid ground. We've got great representation at the Capitol. Terry Rogers is doing a phenomenal job. Dan Gazaway's been a great addition to Habersham County. So
yes.
We've got a lot of great things. We also have a resident governor now, so that's also nice.
That helps.
It does.
That helps.
It does.
But Chad, thank you for being a guest on Chamber Chat today. And more than that, I want to thank you for all the work that you do on the Board of Commissioners and for accepting the chairmanship this year.
Well, thank you.
Because I know sometimes you feel that it is a thankless job.
Well, it's a job that needs to be done, and sometimes it's one of those things that you just have to roll your sleeves up and do.
Being a public servant is not easy, but we appreciate you, and you're doing a very good job, and thank you very much. And please stay with us. We're going to take a short commercial break, and we will be right back with the second guest for today.
No matter what the occasion or how big the achievement, everyone deserves an award. Look no further than Bob and Ted's Trophy in Clarksville. Trophies, medals, plaques, and more. It's what you need when you need it. Family owned and operated since 1974, Bob and Ted's has been rewarding the community for nearly 40 years, offering quality service at competitive pricing, all done with a speedy turnaround. Get what you need when you need it.
Hear from your doctors at Chestatee Regional Hospital.
Any community that's growing like this community is needs a good medical facility for people to go to.
We have an exceptional level of medical and surgical proficiencies in the area.
You're going to get the same care here you would anywhere in the country.
Chestatee does offer a very personal touch, and I think that's one of the greatest assets of the hospital.
And it should be supported to help keep the community going. This is Mitch Simpson at Mitch Simpson Motors in Cleveland. We've got one of the largest selections of good used cars, trucks, and SUVs anywhere in North Georgia. We've always got about 150 to choose from, and most of them are priced less than $10,000. Check out what we've got today on our website. It's MitchSimpson.com. Or better yet, just come see us. We're right here in Cleveland at Mitch Simpson Motors.
Thank you for staying with us. My next guest today is Keith Stapleton with Habersham Metal Products. Welcome, Keith. Thank you. Thank you for being my guest today on Chamber Chat.
Well, we're glad to be here.
Well, and also congratulations on being the Member of the Month.
Absolutely, and thank you to the board and yourself and the Chamber for electing us Member of the Month.
Well, it was a most deserving company to be Member of the Month, and we're going to talk about some of the reasons that it was deserving. And Keith, I hope you don't take offense to this, but I love to talk about Habersham Metal Products, and I call them so many times a homegrown company.
Well, that's a good description of them.
Well, sure. You were started in Habersham County, you have grown in Habersham County and developed in Habersham County, and it just makes the Chamber and other people in Habersham County feel so good that you've been as successful as you have, and we just love to recognize our homegrown companies. But tell us a little bit about the history of Habersham Metal Products. To me, it's very interesting.
Well, just the short recap is we were established in 1954. There were 3 investors, James A. Stapleton Sr., who I'm proud to say is my grandfather, Jerry Wright, or actually Ralph Wright from Atlanta, and Jesse Jones of Cornelia. They started with commercial doors and frames, commercial metal doors and frames, which are similar to what you'd see in a school or a hospital. Mm-hmm. In the late 70s, early 80s, we transformed to detention and jail correctional products, which is kind of a heavier door with a lot of standards and security standards that are involved with it. We started at Camp Creek Road and Main Street, across from the Dairy Queen in Cornelia.
That may have been before your day, wasn't it?
That was way before my day, actually. No, I remember going when I was a child there, and it was very neat, but we've since relocated to adjacent to the airport, the Habersham County Airport. We have 190,000 square feet of manufacturing and office space, and we have 120 extremely valued associates all working together to move the company forward. Our president and CEO is my father, James A. Stapleton Jr., and he's been a pioneer in our industry.
Yes, he has.
Very influential in our industry, and has been able to maintain a great company and provide leadership, as well as all the other folks that have either been at Habersham Metal or are there today. So we have a bright future and looking forward to it.
Well, we're just so happy to have you in Habersham County. And we want to talk a little more about your product lines, but before we do, I'm going to say that I know you hire a lot of welders.
We do.
And the reason I know, most people who listen to this know that I used to be at North Georgia Tech. Right. And when I was at North Georgia Tech, Habersham Metal Products was one of the largest employers for our welding students up there. And we always appreciated that.
And we appreciate the work you did, and we still utilize North Georgia Tech as a partner.
I know that you do. And so tell us a little about your product line, then.
Well, we talked earlier, what I'd mentioned, the detention doors and frames are our core product, and we've been able over the past couple of years to have adjacent products or bolt-on products to that product line, which would include walls and ceilings, sound transmission class doors, radiation protection, and then also what's called forced entry ballistic rated, which is a specification from the Department of State for consulates and embassies. So it's basically terrorist resistant doors and windows, and a good example would be for any building that's prone to terrorist attack or like a dam or bridges. In particular, something close by is the Buford Dam, and we were able to retrofit some of those products into the Buford Dam.
Wow.
Probably in the past 2 years, so we're proud of that, and that's something that's close by. Usually most of our work is international or from coast to coast or Canada to Mexico.
Right. And a few minutes ago I mentioned North Georgia Tech, and I believe that they nominated Habersham Metal Products for the Manufacturer of the Year in Georgia this year.
Absolutely they did, and we really appreciate that, and we appreciate the confidence that North Georgia Tech has in Habersham. That is in a nine-county area, I believe, for our size, which I think was like 150 employees and under for manufacturing.
Probably a mid-size.
Yeah, and we actually have that. We're keeping our fingers crossed because we're supposed to find out next week whether we were awarded it, but whether we weren't or not, we appreciate everybody supporting us.
Well, it's an honor just to be nominated.
Exactly.
Being nominated is the best among the best.
Yep.
So that is an honor. And let's talk a little bit about the role of Habersham Metal in the community, because this is one thing that made you the Member of the Month.
Well, and again, we appreciate the nomination and being the Member of the Month. We actually, for some of the local school systems, in particular Habersham County school system, we've had Mr. Blackburn from the high school and his engineering group come by for a series of tours. And kind of see how 3D modeling, how it develops in the real world, so to speak. So I think it's been beneficial for those students. We actually had what's called team shelters for the soccer team. It was a good break for our folks because they're used to looking at doors and windows and walls and ceilings, and they were able to build something different. So if you go and see a soccer game, the team shelters there, Habersham Metal built those, and then everyone's really proud of that because it's something different.
Right. Well, you are a great supporter of the Chamber, and you're very involved in Leadership Habersham.
Yeah, that's correct. For the past 5 years, we've either hosted it and had folks from Habersham Metal involved with Leadership Habersham, and we appreciate your involvement there, and that's a great program for our folks.
Is.
Yeah, we actually have one of our key associates there during the program this year.
Oh, yes. I've met her and talked with her, too.
Yeah.
And even to your wife was a coordinator one year.
She was.
So, a very good coordinator.
And a student, right?
Yes, she was a student the year before, and the next year she was a coordinator, and we do appreciate that so much. But quickly, I know that you're very involved in Prevent Child Abuse Habersham.
Well, yeah, and Habersham Metal has been a sponsor of Prevent Child Abuse Habersham since its inception.
Yes.
Is my understanding. We actually were out there yesterday at the hospital putting up the blue ribbons, so if you see those...
and those are metal ribbons, aren't they?
They are.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, coincidentally. But they do great work. I know that you're going to be interviewing
Shirley
Meeks next, so that's a great organization, and we're glad to be able to sponsor and help out that organization.
Right. And this is just a good segue into talking with Shirley next.
Okay.
But Keith, thank you so much for being my guest today on Chamber Chat, and thank you for all the work that Habersham Metal Products does and what you give back to this community.
Absolutely. We'd like to thank you and the Chamber for your work as well.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And please stay with us. We're going to take another short commercial break, and we will be right back.
This is Mitch Simpson at Mitch Simpson Motors in Cleveland. We've got one of the largest selections of good used cars, trucks, and SUVs anywhere in North Georgia. We've always got about 150 to choose from, and most of them are priced less than $10,000. Check out what we've got today on our website. It's MitchSimpson.com. Or better yet, just come see us. We're right here in Cleveland at Mitch Simpson Motors.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Thank you for staying with us. My last guest for today is Shirley Meeks with Prevent Child Abuse Habersham. Welcome, Shirley.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you so much for having me today.
Well, I just appreciate your being on the program. And Shirley, you have been an advocate and a volunteer for Prevent Child Abuse Habersham for years.
Yes.
Well, tell us exactly what is Prevent Child Abuse Habersham.
Well, Prevent Child Abuse Habersham is an organization that focuses on preventing child abuse in our county, all forms. There's physical, emotional, sexual, and neglect. And that is our focus. In order to focus on that, though, we have to acknowledge the problem we have with abuse.
Yes.
And we do have a serious problem, and we're aware of that. So it is our desire to prevent that from happening to another child. And to do that, you have to look at the causes of abuse. Right now, and from inception, in 1992, a group, local citizens realized that there was abuse in our county. And Janice Stapleton, the mother of Keith you just talked to, was one of those people. They realized that there was a lot going on, prosecuting offenders and dealing with children who were victims, but there was nothing focused on taking care of things to prevent them from ever happening. So that's what we're about, and we have 4 paid staff members who run our programs, and then there's like 23 of us just concerned citizens who are volunteers who just work together to reach the public, and then we have a board of like 8 on the advisory board that are there to support us and help us grow and be more effective.
Right, and those people who do volunteer are very passionate.
They're very passionate.
They're very passionate. And you know, it is about prevention. And you know what the old cliche is, that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
And that is so true. It so applies. The issue with this is so much more serious. The cure, there's not really a very good cure.
Sometimes, if it's gone too far.
Right, if it's gone too far. Child abuse actually lasts a lifetime. And there is so much local revenue, so much crime, so many things associated that is really detrimental to the community. And what we're about is looking at the causes. You know, again, a cliche, it's better to find the root cause and address that than keep medicating the symptoms of a problem. So we're looking at the root causes. So we look at research, and we know that that at-risk families where there's a young teen mom or mom with multiple children with no support system, or where there's just a dysfunctional family that's lacking in communication skills or knowledge of raising children. All of these are things that are going on that if we can address that early, if we can help that.
Absolutely.
And then we can prevent it from ever happening to their children. So actually, while child abuse is such a sad and devastating crime and very rampant in our own community, as wonderful as our community is, it is. But on the other hand, what we're doing is wonderful. It is such an honor and a pleasure to be part of an organization who is addressing the problem before it happens, the causes, and working with families, making them strong, helping children develop healthy and optimally, educationally. This can change our community. This can change this problem of child abuse.
But Shirley, I just want you to get some passion about this. Shirley, I don't think there is a worker who's any more passionate than you.
And I guess, you know, I worked for 32 years in the educational system.
I knew you did in the school system.
And I have to say, through those years, if you can imagine, there was not a week went by, I suppose, that I wasn't confronted with some issue with child abuse.
And you saw so much.
And it's been ongoing. And so, as far as I know, we are the only organization in the county that focuses solely on prevention.
Well, this is something, Shirley, that is near and dear to all of our hearts. So what are the ways that you address it?
Well, we have, I'm glad you asked, we have 4 programs. One is First Steps, and knowing the causes and the reasons for the at-risk situations for child abuse, we know that we have to start early, prenatal, at birth. So we have a program called First Steps, where we visit every mom that has a baby there, and we just get to know her, find out about her needs. We connect that family to any resources they might need, any information about child development or taking care of the child, and just offer ourselves as a resource to help get that family, any family that needs it, off to a strong, stable start. That is key.
It is.
And sometimes those, there are incidences that those families are referred to our other program, Parents as Teachers. And research shows that visiting in homes with families directly, offering support, education, and resources to develop a strong, functioning family is the key element in preventing. That's a report from CDC. They say this is, and Parents as Teachers is a highly reputable program with a reputable curriculum nationally, and that's what we use. And we go into homes and visit and work with families and help change those at-risk situations into a healthy, flourishing family with thriving children.
Yes.
That's where the prevention comes in.
And Shirley, April is National Child Abuse or Child
Abuse Prevention Month.
Child Abuse Prevention Month. Quickly, because our time is about up, tell us some of the activities that your program will be having in Habersham County.
Okay, one you already mentioned. We put out hundreds of metal blue ribbons made by Habersham Metal, and they don't just, let me give a plug for them, they don't just make them, they come and help put them out.
Well, are they all at the hospital?
They're all around the Angels at the hospital, but we do have other posters that we're putting out at businesses across the county that support Prevent Child Abuse Habersham, just to bring awareness. Our friends at Piedmont are making, cutting and stringing over 10,000 blue ribbons.
I've heard about that. I have heard about that.
And those will be distributed to all the school children in the county.
Good.
And this started, the Blue Ribbon campaign started many years ago, back in the 80s, I believe, with a grandmother who lost her grandchild to child abuse, and she started tying blue ribbons around her antenna, car antenna, and asked those in the county to do that in her community, just to show support for having happy, healthy children and not allowing something like that to happen.
Well, Shirley, our time is up, but you are a wonderful guest, and thank you so much for being on Chamber Chat today. But more than that, thank you for all the work that you give to help the children in our county be safe.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. It's just, it takes a village, so we just want everyone involved.
Yes. And I usually end with a quote, and my quote today is by Nelson Mandela, former president of South Africa. And this quote is inspired by Shirley and Prevent Child Abuse Habersham. And what it says is, there is no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way it treats its children. Thank you for being with us today, and I will see you next time.